Hi, everyone. Welcome to Disrupt Your Day podcast, season 4. My name is Petula, and I am the host. This season, what we decided to do is amplify women's voices, basically women's authors, sharing their experiences, sharing their stories, and letting their voices be heard. So today, our guest. Um, I would love to introduce our guest. She's amazing. Her name is Beth. Um, she went from a musician to an entrepreneur. She turned her passion for music, I can't talk today, and helping others into healing addict. Through her blend of singing, songwriting, and speaking, Beth guides clients and audiences to use creativity to transform. Hi, Beth. Welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Of course, I'm so excited to have you. And when you submitted your form and your story, I feel like it was so impactful, and I feel like you have a lot to share and tell the world. So, um, please share, and let our audience hear who you are.
Yeah, definitely. That's actually exactly what it feels to me. I have so much to share. I'm like this huge ball of love that feels like it's going to overflow and
Oh.
explode if I don't get it out in all the ways.
Oh, I
So,
love that. So get it out. So what is Healing Addict?
so the Healing Addict is an LLC I started because I wanted to appear a little bit more put together. So I have the musician aspect, I have speaking and writing, and I
Mhm.
wanted to encompass everything all in one. And I call it the Healing Addict because that's
Mhm.
what I am. I suffered major depression throughout most of my
Mhm.
life, and it ended up feeding into an addiction.
Mhm.
And it was 2018. I was deep into really some hard things that a lot of people don't come out of. A lot of people die
Mm.
in that kind of addiction, and somehow, some way, I have a very short story. When it comes to my addiction, thank God. And so through that experience of the depression really just bringing me to a lot of suicidal thoughts,
Yeah.
I found myself questioning, is there a God? Is there, some sort of miracle that can happen for me? And if it can't, let me die, because I had two kids.
Mhm.
I didn't want to kill myself, but that's where I was at. I needed something to happen, or I knew I could possibly do something. So
Oh, yeah.
going from hopeless
Mm.
to not wanting to die all in a span of 6 months.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
6
So
months is
choosing
not
to
a
live.
long period of time. So walk us
Yeah.
through your journey, and how much, please share as much as you want and be, as open as you and raw as you can. I would love to hear, how you work through that, and how we could, provide some great insights for the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. I really craved specific steps when I was at my most vulnerable and experiencing my most darkest days. And I've actually talked a lot about this week. I've been having a lot of flashbacks, remembering those days, and everything I watched, like on Super Soul Sunday, and when I would try to put positive things, I couldn't find the steps that resonated with me and where I was at.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to give. So when I was experiencing the suicidal thoughts, I think it really stemmed from not talking about it. I
Mm.
think it was all of these thoughts were wrapped up inside my heart and my soul, and I didn't
Mhm.
speak about it to anybody. I've always had a pretty personable personality, and came
Yeah.
across as happy and bubbly. And even though it was a little bit obvious to those closest to me, I would suffer. Nobody knew how worthless I felt. Nobody knew how hopeless everything seemed to me. And in the drug addiction, I found my
Mhm.
way to talk about it. And I found people who I had no shame to let everything out. And I think the biggest key to me finding the choice of do I want to die or do I want to live and choosing life was
Mhm,
just curiosity. I opened something inside of myself by
mhm.
getting curious. Is there a God? Is there a way to
Right.
heal? Is there, rather than all of those depressing negative thoughts telling me
Mhm,
it's hopeless, you can't do this, you're not this. Everything was so just facts inside my
mhm.
mind. When I opened my mouth and got curious, it opened my heart, and
Oh,
once you crack it open, the light can shine through, and that's what happened.
mm.
I had a very spiritual experience in the midst of a drug binge. I had been up for days, and I
Wow.
was talking to all these people about these crazy thoughts, like maybe a miracle can happen, maybe God is real, like maybe I can experience this, like we were diving
Yeah,
deep like therapy or something. It was so,
right.
it's funny to think about. But
Mhm.
I, in the midst of speaking a sentence, felt something inside myself crack open, and light filled my body.
Oh,
And all of the darkness I had felt, all of the hopelessness I felt
mhm.
filled with light and love. And
Oh.
that's the best way to explain it. Yeah.
It almost
And it
sounds like
was
an
as if,
angel came down and was like, "Okay, this is not the end for you, Beth."
yeah, that's the way it felt. And it literally changed the belief system in my mind
Mm.
all in one swoop. From I am hopeless, I
Yeah.
can't, everything is my fault, I'm shameful,
Mhm,
to none of this is my fault. Everything is okay. I can have grace for what parts I've played and grace
mhm,
for everyone who was involved in my past. And I can choose life, and there's something on the other side I'm going after.
mhm. Wow, wow. So at that point, life for you was looking just like there wasn't life, right? And then something kind of just came to you, spirituality or whatever you want to call it. And so once that happened, what start did you start doing? Because depression and drug addiction is hard to remove from your life just like that. So tell us how you did it.
So to paint a picture, 2017, I was a manager for McDonald's. I had my
Yeah.
two kids, and I was with their dad. We had been together their whole lives. And that year brought me to such low, dark places. I needed to change everything.
Mm.
I actually jokingly said my mantra for 2018 was do or die 2018. And that's what I did. I was doing or dying. And so trying to change everything. I left their dad because it was a very toxic relationship. Um, I was trying to find a love for myself and move in that, but I didn't know love. I didn't know love. It was all in the lens of my past and shame and pain.
Mhm,
And when you're looking through that lens, you're going to find more shame and pain and people
mm,
who are also in that. And that's what I found. I walked right into people who were in their darkness and introduced me to the drugs. And we sat hopeless together. And I happened to get curious enough to find the light and
mm,
move forward. And it's funny because when that experience happened to me, the spiritual experience, I still found myself in the same cycles. It
mm,
wasn't all of a sudden my life is miraculously changed, but the key
mm.
was I kept going after the truth that I had now had inside my heart and soul.
Right.
So it looked like me continuing the drug cycle for a little bit, but I kept staying curious. How can I change? Who can I
Mhm.
talk to? Who can I get help from?
Right.
And thankfully, it was meant to be. And people poured so much love into me as soon as I was ready to open that door. And I changed my surroundings one step
Oh,
at a time.
right,
Yeah.
right. Oh my God, that's amazing. Um, I interviewed a woman this week as well, and she said that you need to work on, it was very impactful. I'm trying to remember the exact, she's like, you need to work on fixing like almost like your past, right? Work on like what is like triggering you to be in this space, so um have you, so during this time, did you seek like therapy? Was you support your family, friends?
So I had family who all stepped in and helped in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
And the first month or so, I went and stayed at an aunt's house. And it was such a beautiful experience. It's funny
Oh.
because they had a porch, and I
Mm-hmm.
was able to go outside every morning and just be, I love nature. And I was able to just go and be in nature. And they would work. I'd be in the house all day by myself, and I just stumbled across things that helped me. Like I read "You Are a Badass." I can't
Yeah.
remember her last name, but by Jen something,
Yeah.
Jen S.
Yes,
It
I
starts with
know
an
the
S.
book. I know the book. Mm-hmm.
That book really set forth in motion uh,
Mm-hmm.
my understanding of how powerful my brain is and how powerful I can be.
Yes.
I stumbled upon many books. God, there's so many books, but that was the path I took. Once I read You Are a Badass, I realized
Mm-hmm.
that my spirit was leading me like all the books. There's so many people that I can resonate with. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I found myself in. Between that and writing songs, I would write poetry, journal.
Mm.
And I would
Oh,
say
yeah.
at that point, I
Uh,
would write the negative thoughts down. Like you said, like changing the belief system
mm-hmm.
is number one. And I didn't know just how important it was at that point. But looking
Yeah.
back, that was the most impactful. I would write the negative thought down that I couldn't get out of my mind, that I couldn't move past to make the decisions I needed to make.
Yeah.
And once I would write it down, it was like something clicked in my brain and I could unwrap it from my heart and my soul.
Okay. So yes, I am like one for preaching. The power of the pen to paper is just
Yeah.
amazing. Matter of fact, we just launched a 6 months journaling program, like a group program, and I'm really excited about it because I feel like it brings up things that you didn't realize that was there, right? Like,
Yeah.
you put it in paper and then, like for instance, for me, every day, write down, even if it's just 1 minute of my day, write down, how my day went, whatever. Then when you reflect back on what you've written, you'll see patterns maybe that you may need to change or like what's coming up for you. So I definitely agree in what you're talking about and your music. I know our initial conversation, you said that you weren't a musician, right? But then you became.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So when I would write songs back then, I had no way of playing music. I didn't play guitar back then. I've always been a singer, just to myself or at church. Like it was
Yeah.
always a gift I had. I had known that, but yeah, there was nothing to build something on at that point. It was just a tool for me to cope, to heal, and it was 2021. So that was 2018. It was 2021 before I built the belief system up that I could do
Yeah.
something that
Yeah.
meaningful to me. Yeah.
So you said you didn't have love in your life. Or you didn't have love, so that therefore you couldn't give self-love to yourself. Um,
Yeah.
why do you say that? Like what in your life made you feel that you didn't have love?
So it was more so I didn't have the capacity to receive love. I was
Oh,
adopted when I was 3.
okay.
So there was abandonment. There were things that I didn't understand, and there were
Yeah.
stories put on me that I
Yeah.
didn't understand. And in that came the one memory I still have today that I feel like is the foundation of that belief system that was built within me of I'm unlovable. And I was
Oh.
4 years old, and I was laying in bed and I was crying. I was angry and I didn't understand these emotions. I just knew how disturbing it felt. And I remember speaking out in anger, talking badly about some people that I really loved, but I was just so hurt.
Mm.
And all of a sudden, it like snapped me into, oh my God, what's wrong with me? I'm broken. Something is
Mm.
so wrong. And if these people find out, they won't want me, they'll leave me.
No.
And it was
Mm,
that moment that I'm like, I can't tell people how I feel. I have to just
mm,
look okay. And I stayed that way for the rest of my years up until I got into the drug addiction. I didn't tell anybody how I felt. I didn't, I was not a vulnerable person when it
mhm,
came to pain. I was
mm.
only vulnerable when you needed love in your life. So nobody could tell that I needed some connections in that way.
Yeah.
So I couldn't receive it in a healing sort of way.
Well, oh my God, what an incredible story. So now that you've went through all this transition, you're doing some amazing things. Um, how do you see the world now? And, what are you doing to, you know, bring change and, all that good stuff? Like, where are you at now in the world?
So I feel like from 2018 to 2022, it was like an awakening,
Mm,
more and more and more awakening and awareness built of just how much healing, just how much peace is available and
mhm.
just how much power that is within me.
Yeah.
And so in these 4 years, or in those 4 years, I was unbecoming what all of my pain and past had built, letting
Mhm,
go of people, letting go of the stories and the belief systems I had built up. And
mhm.
in the last 2 years, there has been a lot of therapy. I've done EMDR therapy.
Okay.
That's the most recent, and that has been amazing. EMDR
Mm,
therapy, if you don't know what it is it's to do with building new neural pathways in your mind,
mhm, mhm.
to letting go of fear and anxiety, and
Right.
being able to build a path of healing inside your brain and good feelings inside of your brain. For instance, I had trouble with cleaning
Mm,
and organizing to the
right.
point where it was like a repetitive depression cycle. So that's just something small that would
Mm,
happen. And EMDR created these new neural pathways in my mind, and from that point on, when I had the session with her, my room,
mhm.
my home, everything has been clean and organized in like a very free, like it feels good. Nothing's overwhelming. Like my laundry gets done and put away in the same day, within
Yeah.
2 days at least. That's huge for me. Multiple kids in the house as well. So, I mean, EMDR is really powerful for sure. But
Yeah.
with therapy, with my self care routines,
Mhm.
such as journaling, such
Yeah.
as affirmations, really learning how to care for my body in a new way. I've lost 75 pounds just with learning how to love myself more,
Oh my God, that's
because
amazing.
thank you. And it really is. I was at a scary weight at one point, and I
Mhm.
still, I know more. Like I know more weight will go,
Right.
because the more I've learned how to love myself, the more I want to do better for myself, and it's very
Mhm.
natural and it feels good.
Yeah.
Um, so in all of these new ways of being and letting love just control my choices, and anytime anxiety comes, understanding that there's a way to heal from it, I
Mhm.
found myself just at the bare bones of what do I want to be in this life, and what
Mm,
do I want to put out into this world. And I'm not a person who can feel peace doing a 9 to 5 job, and I'm a mom, and that's the most important thing.
mhm.
But I don't want to just sit at home, because that doesn't resonate either. So I
Right.
need a life that lets me mother my children, but also be who I am meant to be in this world. And music resonated number one. And that was a great
Mhm.
way to practice that faith in myself and that faith in building something from nothing. So I
Mhm.
picked the guitar up in 2021 and
Yeah.
just started learning by writing songs.
Yeah.
And I was able to start playing like whatever I wanted to play, like cover songs and things like that, within about a year. So I started
Oh,
doing open mic nights. Yeah. And I think it's a talent that I had. Like I don't think
so
I
you
practiced a
basically
little bit in
taught
high school.
yourself.
Basically, I practiced a
Oh,
little bit in high school because I had a
yeah.
best friend and my brothers also played. So I had just a tiny foundation to grow, and that's what I did. I taught myself for about a year and a half, and I started with open mic nights, and from there I was able to get paid performances and play full time all of
Yeah.
last year.
Oh my God, that is all so amazing and so powerful, I gotta say. Because I've always wanted to learn to play the guitar, and I just never like took the time to do it. And it was just something I was doing as a hobby. But look at you, how you just like you have like natural talent that you didn't even realize that you had. So that's so much love there, right?
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
so tell the audience, where they could find you, how they can, can get in touch with you, get your, because you do children's books, correct? How they can get your
So,
book,
yeah,
that great stuff.
absolutely. So, from Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, you can find me as your best friend Beth.
Okay.
So, like I had said at the beginning, I wanted to encompass everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that started this year as the Healing Addict. So
Mm-hmm.
from that, I branched into doing a podcast and a YouTube channel. So you can find me under your best friend Beth on all the things: Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, everything. Your best friend Beth.
Okay.
And from Amazon, you can get the book I wrote, and it's just a children's book. I like to call it my business card because I want to help mothers. So it's like my
Yeah.
way into connecting with them. And it's
Mm-hmm.
called I Want to Be Wild. And WILD
Oh,
is an acronym that stands for willing, imaginative, loving, and deciding.
oh,
And so
love
that's
it.
just a very fun, thank you. It's a very fun, whimsical way of learning how to love yourself and embrace who you are and explore how to put your goodness into the world. So that's
Mm-hmm.
on Amazon. And I think that's and I have music out, and there's going to continue to be more music under Beth Gatlin
Yeah.
Music, and that's on any streaming, YouTube or Spotify, whatever you listen to music on. So
How amazing, Beth. Thank you so much for sharing your powerful story. I hope that someone, it resonates and it can help someone that they know that there's hope, you could change. There's better. If you could share maybe one thing to the audience to a positivity to give them, what would that be?
you don't have to change anything outside of your life. The key is to change the belief system, and there's so many simple ways to do it. And when you can find a place of quietness, your heart will guide you,
Mhm.
whether it's journaling or listening to a book or a podcast. Even right now, your heart guided you to this. So this is
Yes.
you wanting to transform, and this is
Yeah.
you ready for the transformation. And that's literally all it takes. I would not have created the music career. I would not have written the book.
Yeah.
Nothing came to me out of forcing. It was only
Mhm.
allowing my heart and spirit to guide me into healing, and everything else just comes.
Oh, amazing. So thank you everyone for tuning in today to disrupt your day. We um we are so excited for this season just to hear stories like Beth, to make sure that everyone's having all women know that they have a voice, to be seen, to be heard. It's really important to us too that you subscribe to our channel, so please do so. And all the information regarding how you can reach us and Beth will be in the description below. I hope that you had some great takeaways from this episode. And thank you so much for joining us, and stay tuned for more. Have a great day. And thank you, Beth. You're amazing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this opportunity.
Of course. Take care, everyone. Bye.